So welcome to my review of the CCA CRA, which is their newest single dynamic driver release. Yeah, as usual, full disclaimer is this is actually sent out to me by KZ to review, so thank you very much, it is appreciated. I was not paid to do this video and all the thoughts and opinions are my own. And as you can see, mine is the black variant, heavy bass. They do have bass because I've already tried them. And yeah, let's just get into the video. So like I stated in the intro, mine is the black version. New upgrade heavy bass dynamic that say they do have a lot of bass. I've also graphed it as well. Some German information, which is kind of different, nothing there. Mine is the non-mic, some information there, if you want to check that. So specs, 25 ohm impedance and sensitivity 99.8. That seems quite low, but to be honest, I didn't really have any issues at all powering these. Frequency range is very big, 20 Hz to 40 kHz, 0.75 pin type, and the plug is 3.5. Oh, that's pretty much usual. And the net weight of these are very light. So let's see what you get. The box is a little bit different to usual. I've been using them, but I'll show them a bit. Bringing in an extraordinary audio experience beyond imagination for everyone is our goal of unremitting efforts. Yep. So that's the kind of quote. This is what the black ones look like. Fingerprints shown quite easily, but again, only you will see them. If people see them, then they shouldn't be that close to your ear. So CCA CRA, new generation acoustics. That is the left one. Obviously single dynamic driver, which you can see it's that big boy right there. Obviously vent there. Kind of different tips. So they're not the Starline tips. And over there you can see like a fine, I'm not sure if you class it as paper, but it's, I guess that helps the tuning. And obviously there's a little lip on the nozzle. Again, these are very light, so no issues at all. Obviously there's the right one, just the same thing. Let's see what you get. Should always be kind of normal. So this is the user guide, which is obviously always in English and Chinese, as you can see. And some tips. So these should be small and large because they always come with mediums fitted. And this is the cable. Obviously I'll open it all up in the next clip. But it looks slightly copper coloured, so it may be the same as what comes on the EDX Pro, I think, the KZ EDX Pro. So yeah, let's have a look. So this is what it looks like. My mistake. This is the KZ EDX Pro cable. It is actually a bit different. It's a bit darker. You can see the difference. So my mistake. So yeah, kind of a dark, kind of smoky-ish right angle connector, which is my favourite. Good strain relief. It's kind of like their normal standard of cables now, which are kind of flat. So this is the two next to each other and it goes flat. I think this is okay. I don't really have any issues with it. So there's the Y split. This is no strain relief, but it actually is quite soft. And yeah, so onto the actual connectors. This one's right, so you got the R there. Very soft and supple. Again, these are much better cables than they actually used to be. So that should be left. And yeah, not much to say really. It's okay. They do the job. Again, if you want balanced, KZ and CCA never offer balanced cables. It's always 3.5. And yeah, so let's just get into the review. So yeah, so finally on to the review part of the CCA CRA. Again, mine are all black. This seems to be like, I think it's plastic. They are actually very light. So anyway, let's get straight on to comfort. Again, I have no issues. As you can see, there's no fin. It's kind of a normal kind of KZ CCA shape. I'm sure it's got the same shell as another one, but I can't remember exactly. But as you can see, it's not very big. Again, I had no issues with comfort. They've got two vents. One's to relieve the pressure, and then obviously the one's for the DD. Yeah, again, so no issues at all. Obviously comfort and obviously fit is very important for me. Because if it's not comfortable, you're not going to listen to them. Very simple. So yeah, no problems with that. So Soundstage I thought is average. I wish it could have been a bit bigger. but it wasn't bad, but it's acceptable Soundstage. So imaging was fine. I had no issues at all. Obviously they're not like planars where they've got really good imaging qualities, but imaging I thought was actually fine with this. I think it helps because the DD is really thin. The actual diaphragm makes it sound fast, so I was quite happy with it. Isolation I found was okay, obviously because it's not sealed, because it's a dynamic driver. Obviously it has to get air in for it to work properly, but again I had no issues at all. Sensitivity and power, I didn't have any issues at all. I've tried this with a few different of my audio adapters, and then my topping L13 low gain. Again, no problem at all. Obviously you can see it's a fingerprint magnet, but only you would see that. If anybody's close to you, they won't see that. Build quality is good. It's obviously these are relatively inexpensive, but the build quality is actually fine. Like all KZs and CCA ones these days, they have a good build quality. Again, no issues at all. Decay, I'll say a bit now before I get to the actual sound, but the actual decay I thought was actually very good, again, because I think the diaphragm is very thin, which means it's fast, which means it can move faster. So the actual bass decay was actually, again, fine. So yeah, let's actually get on to what we're here for is sound. So like now, I'm going to overlay the graph. As you can see, these are a bassy boy. They have a lot of bass, and as usual, my coupler rolls off under maybe like the 50 to 60 hertz and down. So in real life, they actually have more sub bass than that. So they have a lot of sub bass, mid bass, upper bass, and obviously there's a little bit of bleed into the mids, which may or may not be a problem for you, but I was fine with it. It doesn't bleed like a huge amount, but yeah, that's what the bass is like. It's textured, the decay's quick, like I said before. Again, it's elevated, so if you're not much of a bass head, these probably might not be for you. I think because it helps that the DD is quick. It doesn't really sound as bloated because it's fast. But yeah, bass is elevated, so not much to say really. The bass extension again is good. The extension is really good at either end. Mids, I found vocals to be very clear. Again, it's a very smooth. I'd say it's a V shape, shall we say? But it doesn't have shouty upper mids, lower treble. The gain is smoother, so that's where your main part of your listening is done from like 1K to like 4-5K, and that's gradual. But anyway, mids again good. I had no issues at all. Vocals sound good. They can sound a little bit, I think, unnatural or parts. But again, that may depend on your actual kind of library and obviously your quality, your source. Yeah, mids was good. I like it's the actual lower mids is very gradual, the bleed, and the upper mids is again gradual, so it doesn't sound shouty. Mids are fine. They're very good for the actual price. So treble, as you can see, there's a peak 8K. That's just from the coupler, so it's not like the ZEX Pro. They have a lot of extension. Obviously, the coupler is inaccurate after 10K, but compared to like the ZEX Pro, which I've done before this, is these extend more, and that's what these are known for, is really large treble extension. A negative of that is it can be fatiguing. There's a couple of peaks here and there because you have so much of it and it extends for so much. It may be fatiguing. Again, it depends on your library, but it's good to have, in a way, extension a bit too much than not enough, because you can always put it back in EQ. But to be honest, I was fine with it. Again, it all depends on your genre. If there's a lot of higher treble, a lot of it in your music, that may affect your fatigue, but again, I was actually quite happy with it. So yeah, lower treble, very gradual rise. There was a peak about 4 to 5K. Now that may or may not affect you. I was actually fine with it. I was expecting not to be, but I've listened to this for a good few hours before this actual, before I did the review and before I graphed them. I always try and listen to them before I graph them. I find that very important, so it doesn't kind of affect your judgment. But yeah, treble's fine. Instrument separation I thought was very good for what the actual price. And there's not much to say really. They are a very well tuned single dynamic driver, good extension either way, not much shout. Just to say the negatives with the treble, there's a lot of it. Well, it extends a lot. That depends on other people's kind of tolerance, but to be honest, I was quite happy with it. And it's at this kind of price range, you never ever get that kind of extension. So nice job CCA with this. And yeah, so I'd like to show you what they look like. Obviously there's the DD, it's quite a thick boy, but obviously the actual diaphragm must be really thin. So yeah, very, very good job CCA. It's good to see at this kind of price range. Very, very good technical performance. Kind of hard to fault. Now, let's take these off. So that's the kind of tips it comes with. They're not the Starline tips, and they're not like the tips that come on the so here's the ZEX Pro. So it's the Starline. These are kind of more generic. Obviously that's what they look like side by side, so obviously very different, as you can see. So yeah, so very good piece of tuning overall. Not perfect, but on the whole, I think these are around the $20 kind of price range. I think these are very good for that kind of money. It's hard to fault, and these extend more than the ZEX Pro. They roll off before these, and they've got 3 drivers to do everything. This has only got 1. So yeah, conclusion is these are probably, from what I've tried, the definitive pick for me, in the kind of price, probably under $50. These may be my pick because they do all the range, which is unheard of at kind of this kind of price. It's kind of a bold statement, but for any other competition, like at this kind of price, I used to like the below this was the QKZ VK4, but they revised them for the worst. So be wary if you're looking for something like that. But these are kind of my favourites for the actual technical performance, for the extension either way, just for like general build quality, the fitment, the comfort, the actual sound. So the only negative it may only affect if you're a bit like if you get like kind of treble, kind of treble fatigue, these may not be for you because there's just a lot of it and there's a couple of peaks. Again, you can always use EQ or foams or anything like that if you have to, but for sheer technical performance, they've done a really nice job. So yeah, good job CCA. And yeah, I might include these in a comparison in the future because I've got one in the works. But yeah, I think they're around $20, low 20s. It's really hard to beat that. The technical performance, I think, beats hybrids because these extend more and they don't have that upper mid kind of shout, which is quite common. As it's gain, that's the part that really annoys me when it's really shouty. These aren't like that. But yeah, I'm going to stop babbling there because the video is getting long. But yeah, really good technical performance, just a bit bright. I wish the stage was a bit bigger. And I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, thanks for watching. As usual, let me know in the comments anything in particular, and take care.